Three kinds of wisdom. In truth, there is only one kind of wisdom, that is, the natural phenomena of understanding reality, of penetrating into the truth of things as they really are. Wisdom, however, is frequently separated into many different kinds, according to the level of understanding, to the specific function of wisdom, or to the specific source of understanding. The three kinds of wisdom here refer to a classification connected to the source of understanding. 1. Sutta Maya Panya, wisdom stemming from listening, reading, and learning. 2. Chintai Maya Panya, wisdom stemming from reflection and contemplation. 3. Bhavana Maya Panya, wisdom stemming from further spiritual cultivation. These three kinds of wisdom are only seldom mentioned in the Tipitaka, but they are frequently referred to in later texts. Because there is some confusion about the meaning of these terms, it is useful to examine some of the scriptural explanations. In most presentations of these three kinds of wisdom, Sutta Maya Panya is placed as the first factor, but the original texts, both in the suttas and in the Buddhadhamma, Chinta Maya Panya comes first. An exception to this is the Neti Pakaranya, which in the Burmese Theravada tradition is included in the Tipitaka as part of the Kudaka Nikaya in the Suttanta Pitaka. Here, Sutta Maya Panya is the first factor. In the commentaries and sub-commentaries, these three factors are increasingly referred to as Sutta Maya Yana, Chintaya Maya Yana, and Bhavana Maya Yana, knowledge arising by way of study, contemplation, and spiritual cultivation, respectively. This is the order that they are presented in the original Tipitaka. 1. Chinta Maya Panya, wisdom arising from contemplation, wisdom arising from wise reflection, Yoniso Manasikara, established within an individual. 2. Sutta Maya Panya, wisdom arising from learning, wisdom arising from the instruction by others, Parato Gosa. 3. Bhavana Maya Panya, wisdom arising from spiritual practice, wisdom arising from applying the previous two kinds of wisdom and engaging in devoted reflection and meditation. The discrepancy between having either Sutta Maya Panya or Chinta Maya Panya as the first of the three factors depends on whether the focus is primarily on exceptional individuals or whether it is on the practice by general, ordinary individuals. In the case where Chinta Maya Panya is placed first, the examination begins with an individual referred to as a great man, Mahaparisa, that is, with the Buddha, or with a silent Buddha, Pacceka Buddha. Such a person has discovered and revealed the truth without relying on the instructions and teachings by others. He is able to apply wise reflection himself, investigating, linking, and following up on experiences in a comprehensive way until he fathoms the truth. From Chinta Maya Panya, he moves directly to Bhavana Maya Panya. He needs not to rely at all on Sutta Maya Panya. When the focus is on ordinary people, however, Sutta Maya Panya is placed at the beginning. Generally speaking, people study and obtain formal knowledge, teachings and information, which rouses faith and confidence. They examine and inspect these teachings, leading to an understanding of them, which is referred to as Sutta Maya Panya. Based on this formal learning, they evaluate and contemplate it deeper, giving rise to a clear discernment of causality and the interrelationship of things. This is Chinta Maya Panya. When they actively and determinedly apply these two initial kinds of wisdom and further investigate phenomena, knowledge jnana arises and they realize the truth. Here the path magga gives rise to fruition, phala. This stage is referred to as bhavana maya panya. Note that for many people, although they obtain a great deal of information, sutta, they do not necessarily develop wisdom, panya. So in regard to the first factor, only some individuals apply their learning to give rise to wisdom comprised of learning, sutta maya panya. In the Vibhanga of the Buddhadhamma, bhavana maya panya is defined as sama pannasa panya, which literally means the wisdom of one who endeavours, or the wisdom of one who has reached fulfillment. The term samapanya may be variously translated as accompanying, endeavouring, completion, or fulfillment. It can be used in both a positive and a negative sense. For example, accomplished in the rules of training related to going forth, papa ja, full of envy and greed, engaging in enjoyment and play, accompanied by sorrow and lamentation, brimful with a swift flowing current. In the context of Dhamma teachings, however, when this term is used on its own, it generally refers to accessing the concentrative attainments, jhana, samapatti. The commentary to the Vibhanga explains, the wisdom of one endowed with the concentrative attainments and occurring with such attainments is called consisting of cultivation. This appears to be a very narrow definition. Other texts, however, include the Paramattha Manjusa, explain that the aforementioned definition is only an example. The essential meaning of the term bhavana maya panya focuses on a clear discernment of the truth, which refers to path wisdom, magga panya, operative within insight meditation, vipassana. There exists an explanation of bhavana maya panya in the texts that encompasses the concentrative attainments, yet spans a broader range of meaning. This explanation considers the term appanna, absorption, which refers to the concentration lying at the heart of jhana. One example from the Visuddhimagga states, wisdom achieved by the power of cultivation that reaches absorption is called endowed with cultivation. This explanation is linked to the passage above, referring to diligent contemplation of all phenomena, which is equivalent to insight meditation, vipassana. When insight meditation, vipassana panya, reaches an adequate degree of clarity, the mind reaches concentrative absorption of jhana. This clear discernment and steady, focused attention is able to purify and eliminate those festering and constrictive qualities known as the defilements, kilesa. The mind is thus released from or all of these defilements. This realization which brings about such transformation is bhavana mayapanya, equivalent to path knowledge, magga jnana. In the neti pa karana, these three kinds of wisdom are linked to the classification of the four kinds of individuals. Here are the spiritual assets of the first three kinds of individuals. Those who are trainable, vinaya, are examined. Before these individuals advance to bhavana mayapanya, those people endowed with both sutta mayapanya and citta mayapanya are called of quick understanding, ugatanu. They understand instantly. They gain insight by even hearing a single outline of a teaching. Those endowed with only sutta mayapanya are called vipacitanu. They understand when they are given an explanation. Those individuals devoid of both of these kinds of wisdom are naya. Those who should be guided with teachings and training in order to gain understanding. Those who have not reached the stage of naya and are Buddhadhamma, one whose highest attainment is the word, are not included here. Compiling these various references, one may summarize this subject of the three kinds of wisdom as follows. Those exceptional individuals, Acharya Pugala, comprising the Buddhas and the silent Buddhas, are true sages. Their wisdom surpasses that of other people. Ordinary people live in specific environments and have various experiences for decades, centuries and generations, and yet their knowledge and understanding remains limited. A Buddha arises, however, and he is able to apply wise reflection and see things from a perspective that others are unable to see. Through investigation, he is able to penetrate the profound underlying truth of all things, gain an intuition into things that others do not recognize, make new discoveries, develop new understanding, and finally access a truth that no one else has realized. The wisdom arising from one's own ability to apply wise reflection is referred to as Cinta Mayapanya, which the Buddhas and silent Buddhas possess without needing to rely on the instructions by others. Indeed, no one exists who would be able to provide them with such instruction. This is the wisdom unique to such exceptional people. They are able to pass over the initial stage of Sutta Mayapanya. If such unique individuals endowed with Cinta Mayapanya do not arise, revolutionary discoveries of truth and the breaking out of the limitations of wisdom are not possible. People then simply pass on their traditional yet restricted knowledge. Ordinary people who do not possess Cinta Mayapanya, derived directly from their own ability to apply wise reflection, must rely on the teachings and instructions by others. The starting point for them is generating Sutta Mayapanya. Ordinary people must develop all three kinds of wisdom. 1. Sutta Mayapanya, knowledge derived from formal learning. When one is not yet able to rely entirely on one's own reflective abilities, one must seek out a teacher, who in the scriptures is referred to as a virtuous friend, Kalyanamitta. For example, the Buddha awakened beings and other wise individuals for instruction and guidance. One is then able to comprehend the truth at one level. 2. Cinta Mayapanya, knowledge derived from reflection, from the ability to contemplate. When one acquires knowledge from formal learning and generates wisdom consisting of such knowledge, Sutta Mayapanya, one trains in wise reflection, Yoni So Mana Sikara, leading to vast, profound and thorough understanding, which can be applied in one's investigation of the truth. 3. Bhavana Mayapanya, knowledge derived from spiritual cultivation. This refers to practical application, whereby one acts from direct experience. Here one relies on the first two kinds of wisdom, and furthers one's spiritual development by applying wise reflection in regard to all phenomena, until one realizes the wisdom established as the path, Magga, and one attains fruition, Phala. Note here that Bhavana Mayapanya relies and follows on from Sutta Mayapanya and Cinta Mayapanya. One does not spontaneously generate Bhavana Mayapanya without a basis of knowledge, or access it simply by sitting in meditation and attaining the jhanas. Most people are not even able to generate Cinta Mayapanya without a foundation of formal learning, Sutta. And as mentioned earlier, many people acquire formal learning but do not transform it into wisdom, Sutta Mayapanya. Wise reflection, Yoniso Manasikara, is the chief agent in this process. One can say that it is the essential factor in the development of all three kinds of wisdom. This is true even for those exceptional individuals like the Buddha, who begin with Cinta Mayapanya without requiring formal instruction from others, Parato Gosa. A Buddha begins with an inherent and exceptional talent for wise reflection, giving rise to profound wisdom. Ordinary people apply formal learning and then contemplate phenomena in order to grow in wisdom until they develop Bhavana Mayapanya, at which stage wise reflection truly comes to the fore. As mentioned above, this threefold division of wisdom is found only seldom in the Tipitaka. Venerable Sariputta presented this classification in order to highlight the sources by which wisdom arises. The factor constantly emphasized by the Buddha is wise reflection, Yoniso Manasikara, which is the means of practice by which wisdom is generated. When wise reflection is present, these three kinds of wisdom may arise and reach fulfillment. In some of those people who receive information and external knowledge, some people only acquire facts and information without developing any sort of wisdom. Some people are able to contemplate and examine that information and generate Sutta Mayapanya. Some people establish Sutta Mayapanya and then reflect and inquire further, generating Cinta Mayapanya. Some people rely on Sutta Mayapanya and Cinta Mayapanya as a basis and then develop wisdom further through wise reflection, generating Bhavana Mayapanya. Commentarial analysis of the sense spheres. The commentators provide many different nuances of meaning for this term ayatana, including the point of transmission for the mind, citta, and mental concomitants, cetasika, i.e. the locus of their active engagement, the point of expansion for the mind, and mental concomitants. The agents behind the continuation of the protracted suffering in the round of rebirth, samsara dukkha, the source, the domain, the point of convergence, etc. Note that the internal physical senses pertaining to movement, balance, etc., which are referred to as somacia, kinesthetic, vestibular, and visceral senses, are not added here as additional senses, ayatana, although these additional senses are not explained in the scriptures. It is reasonable that they were excluded because some of their aspects are included in the fifth sense, referred to as body, kaya. More importantly, however, these additional senses function exclusively on a physiological level by maintaining a normal physical state of operation. They have unique attributes and are conformed to the inner life of human beings. Although they are necessary supports, their value is fixed. They are unable to promote increased benefits in regard to awareness and experience of the world, to knowledge and understanding, or to ethics. For this reason, they are not included in the definition and context of ayatana. The 6 sense spheres and the 5 aggregates. All 6 internal sense bases, ayatana, are incorporated in the 5 aggregates. There are exceptions to this, however, in regard to the 6 external sense objects, ayatana. The first 5 pairs of ayatana, chakku, rupa, sota, sada, gana, gandha, jiva, rasa, and kaya, potaba, are part of the rupakanda. The 6 internal ayatana, mano, the mind, is part of the vijnana kanda. The 6 external ayatana, dhamma yatana, are part of the 4 aggregates. 3 kinds of namakanda, vedana, sanya, sankhara, and the rupakanda in particular, those refined material forms, sukuma rupa, example, the element of space, akasa dhatu, femininity, masculinity, levity, flexibility, continuation, decay, expansion, physical transformation, etc. The exception here is nibbana, which transcends the 5 aggregates, khandha vinimutta.